You're listening to the Productive Therapist Podcast, the world's greatest and most brilliant resource for busy therapists who'd rather be laying on a beach in Hawaii. Every week we share helpful tips on where to put what, how to do this, that, and the other, and the best way to get your ducks in a row. And now here's your host, licensed therapist, head nerd, and productivity Yoda, Uriah Guilford.
Hello and welcome to the Productive Therapist Podcast. I'm so happy that you're here listening, and I wanted to do another short episode on something that I'm super excited about this year, which is attending summits and conferences for therapists. And I'm actually thrilled to sponsor several of the ones I'm going to share with you today. And then I think I'm sponsoring 3 or 4 of them, and then one I'm just attending purely for enjoyment and education. So, continuing education and professional development is something that we're all required to do. And most of us really, really do love it. And there's some amazing conferences. And I'm going to tell you about the 5 that I'm attending this year. But there's lots and lots of other ones. So I guess my encouragement here would be to find the resources, specifically conferences, that are going to really propel you forward clinically and in your private practice journey. It can be an amazing opportunity to network and to learn and to grow, and just really valuable. So I'll give you these in order of the time of the year that they're happening. And some of these are new and some of them are established. The first one is the Faith and Practice Conference with my friend Whitney Owens, who's an amazing group practice owner and consultant. And this one is actually on Jekyll Island in Georgia on April 21st through 24th. And I'll just read you a little bit from the website. Faith and Practice Conference is a unique space for faith-based counselors to develop their clinical skills, boost their business acumen, and take time away for quietness and reflection. And it's in this really beautiful spot in Georgia. And I've never been to Georgia, so I'm really excited to check that out. I guess they have the biggest pool on Jekyll Island, which is a bonus. And they have some fantastic speakers talking about all kinds of things related to how to understand and implement faith into your practice, both clinically and on the business side. So that should be amazing. That's number 1. And then number 2 is the Thrive Summit with Megan Gunnell. And this one is in St. George, Utah. I'm sponsoring this one. And this is a unique sort of event. She's calling it a retreat and learning summit for therapists. And it's out in Red Mountain Resort in Utah, May 19 through 22. And she's calling it an exclusive retreat and learning summit for therapists to help you restore and learn how to thrive. And Megan is an astounding, just a wonderful person. And she helps so many therapists in so many ways. And she does stellar retreats. I think a bunch of her other retreats have been in Costa Rica. I'll have to sign up for that one soon. But this location in Utah is really, really nice. And it's kind of like a spa sort of resort place. And she's also has some wonderful speakers, and there's time for, I believe there's going to be time for other sorts of fun activities, outdoor events, and those types of things. So that one should be fun. It's a smaller one. I think this one might be limited to, just checking here, I think Faith and Practice and the Thrive Summit might be very small, right around 100 or so people, which I do like. Big conferences are great, but sometimes it can be a lot. So these smaller ones are really nice. Okay, so that's Thrive Summit. Definitely check that one out. I'll put the links to all these in the show notes if you want to take a look and see if you can attend the ones that are right for you. The next one is Not Your Typical Psychotherapist Summit with Ernesto Segismundo, my good buddy from Filmit.com and Cav Family Therapy. And this one is actually for the first time, in Nashville, Tennessee this year, May 26th through 28th. I'm also sponsoring this one. His tagline here is really short and sweet: Unleash the Innovator Within. And I've been to 1 or 2 of these summits with Ernesto, and this one truly is unique. It's not so much clinically focused. It's more, he says, it's a summit for the innovative, creative, and entrepreneurial therapist. Kind of thinking about what you can do that's maybe outside of the box of what we're normally expected to do and be. Thus the title, right? Not Your Typical Psychotherapist. And you can actually get 16 NBCC approved continuing education credits. And some of the topics and themes include money mindset, wealth building strategies, leadership and business management skills, value-driven business, creating business systems that free up your time to travel more and be with family. Really great topics, strategic marketing, And also, all of these summits and conferences honestly have pretty stellar speakers. So you can't go wrong there. You can't go wrong there. So that is not the typical psychotherapist summit, Nashville, Tennessee. And then next up, and that one's in May. Next up in July, I'm going to be attending the Group Practice Builders Summit. And I actually have never been to this one. The first year it was held, I had a conflict and I couldn't go. I was so bummed. And then I think the next year was, if I'm getting that right, I think the next year was 2020, so it was canceled. Or no, it was virtual, sorry. And then 2021, it didn't happen. So anyway, it's happening July 7th through 9th in Chicago, the 2022 Group Practice Owners Summit. And this one has some pretty amazing keynote speakers. Donald Miller, one of my favorite business authors, and then also a gentleman by the name of Ramon Ray, author of Celebrity CEO. And he is outstanding, truly. And this conference, as you can imagine, is dedicated to group practice owners. And they've got several different tracks depending on where people are at in their group practice journey. And probably, you know what? I'm excited about all these conferences. This one, maybe because I haven't been to it and it's new to me, even though I know the creators very well. Yeah, I'm stoked on this. Chicago in July. Might be hot, but that's okay. Okay, and then last up, at this point, I've only registered and signed up to sponsor these 5 conferences, and I think that'll be it. I'm really going to enjoy the travel. I actually got a new 1-bag travel bag, so I'm excited to put that to use. The next and last one is the Foundations of Connection Summit in Kona, Hawaii, August 4th through 6th, and this is also put on by Ernesto Segismundo. And this one, actually, I'm not sponsoring. I'm just attending. And it happens to be right around the time of my wedding anniversary, which I believe, 22 years this year. So my wife is going to come along with me on at least this trip, maybe a few others. We'll see. But this one should be a lot of fun. And this one is more clinically focused. And his tagline for this one is centered, grounded, and embodied. Ernesto's been doing this for several years, and he moves it around from Kauai to, I think last year it was on Maui. And I've just heard rave reviews. Well, everything Ernesto does is pretty great. But rave reviews about this one specifically, the opportunity to get away to Hawaii, I mean, that's in itself is a really great experience. And again, you can earn continuing education's credits through this conference. And they've got things like experiential modalities for trauma and grief, somatic approaches for depression and anxiety, creative therapy for depressed and anxious clients, self-care practices, therapeutic interventions aimed at repairing ruptured relationships and intimacy issues, and then a really fantastic lineup, a very diverse lineup of speakers. Actually, all these conferences have a good amount of diversity, which is really wonderful to see. So that is my conference schedule for 2022. And I'll put all the links in the show notes, like I said, and I would love to know what you're doing this year. And I know it's tough to go from a podcast to any other sort of forum, but if you feel like popping over to the Productive Therapist Facebook page, let us know what conferences you're excited about. And I'll create a post for that as well, because that would be a good one to share resources. So thanks so much for listening. And I don't have a resource attached to this podcast episode necessarily, but if you need some help managing your email overwhelm, I would recommend checking out the 7-day email transformation challenge course, totally free, and 7 days small tasks to handle your email better. And if you make some of these changes, I can honestly tell you, you will be more productive and happier and more efficient overall. So there you go. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.